we go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good. Super Bowl week, baby, is upon us. And while we're going to get an abundance amount of people talking about the game, I'm diving into Dynasty Rankings. We're talking running backs on the top 30. It's good to know where these guys finished off and where we could actually, because a lot of Dynasty startups will be kicking off. Rookie Draft's going to have you guys loaded with good content. But let's talk some of these rankings for these running backs, where they finished, where they sit today in Dynasty formats. Number one, Bijan Robinson. I know a lot of y'all will disagree and put guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, Gibby up on number one over Bijan, but for me, it's simple as put. He's the three-down workhorse back, where Jahmyr Gibbs, while he did prove that he could be that dude, I think the, abundance of carries that is, uncontested for a Bijan rather than Gibby with still a Monty. I still think that is going to be the MO of the Lions offense. Bijan, 23 years of age, played in all 17 games. A nice 82.4 on the boom rate. 311 points, baby. Very good, man. Over 1,400 yards, 14 rushing touchdowns. Add 61 receptions. So we'll see how this Atlanta Falcons offense does move with a Michael Penix, but he is the cream of the crop in a Bijan. Gibby, number two, 22 years of age, likewise with a Bijan, but his boom rate, man, was killer this year. 94% on the boom rate for Gibby. He's as safe as they come right now. Showcase the fact that even when a Monty did go down, he could carry the load. So it is basically a 1A situation with a Bijan, with a Gibby. You can pick your poison, and the answer is not incorrect whatsoever with either one of these guys. 336 points for a Gibby this year. Absolutely stellar. Number three, Saquon Barkley for me. Could have had Breece Hall, drop Breece down a bit. Barkley's still at 27 years of age, playing some of the best football we have seen. And I think, the MO everybody's got to get off, and the stigma is that when they creep up to a certain age, you got to get rid of them in Dynasty, man. 27 years old on a running back who got 2,000 yards rushing is extremely happy to be playing in a place like Philly. I'm telling y'all, you got to kind of take the good with the bad. If you're going for championships every single year, these guys are still extremely valuable pieces. Saquon absolutely is the cream of the crop, man. 81% on the boom rate. Just absolutely killer, man. 345 carries, 2,005 yards, and 13 rushing touchdowns. He was an animal this year, and that should absolutely continue. Number four, Breece Hall. I'm still not getting off the bandwagon for a Breece. This was an off year for him. Definitely did not hit what he did last year. He was over 70% last year in boom rate. This year, 62.5. This is why we saw the decrease. Obviously, with Aaron Rodgers and company, the offense was not as good as it was, leaning on a Breece Hall. But, hopefully we'll see how they do shake it down. They got a new head coach. They will have a new OC, etc. So we'll see how this offense does move. Who's going to be the quarterback in New York this year? We shall see. But I still love Breece Hall and the skill set. Only 23 years of age. This man can absolutely do the business in both the run and the pass. He is definitely my number four as we sit today. Jonathan Taylor, JT, man. 74% on that boom rate, 235 points, dealt with some injuries this year as well, but still carried the ball a lot, man. 303 carries and 1,400 yards, 11 TDs. He found his way into that medical room again, which is something I don't like overall, but JT, when healthy on the field, if they do ever figure out the Anthony Richardson situation to help him become a better passer, maybe we see a turnaround in this offense, but JT still is JT, one of the best running backs in this league, who is a bell cow back, like a Bijan in that same respect. That's why you got to up these guys. Volume is key, but also efficiency rates do help and aid with these guys. JT definitely is my number five. Kyren Williams, number six. 24 years of age, 87% on that boom rate, man, 255 points. This man's a killer as well. I get it. They got to Blake Corum. He did sprinkle in some carries as the year did move on, but definitely not what I expected. I thought there would be at least, maybe a 75-25 split rate. It wasn't even that. Kyren Williams basically still was that bell cow. There could be some change of pace when it comes to the roster construction here in LA, but we shall see. Kyren's still way too valuable, way too good in that consistency. Almost at 90%, is rivaling somebody like a Jahmyr Gibbs. Devin off the A-chain, HN, number 7 for me. Miami could be something in a transitional phase a little bit. How are they going to move forward? Definitely an off year. Is Tyreek going to stay? Is he going to go? Are they going to continue to move forward with the offense? Has Coach McDaniel been figured out a little bit? Either way, We do see Devin Achane get into the medical room as well, and that is, the concussions, the issues like that we don't like to see, but at 23 years of age, 64% on that boom rate. Absolutely love him at 260 points. He still is a massive getter in that pass game. 78 receptions this past year. We're likely going to see that go down this following season, but he still is a top 10 commodity, and I got him here at number 7. Number 8, Josh Jacobs. Green Bay Packers, we shall see, 26 years of age. The Packers were such an interesting team this year. They came, into the year being still that pass-happy team, and then as the year did go on, they moved towards being a more run, centric squad. And Jacobs hit the bell, man. 88% on that boom rate, 275 points. He was absolutely a dynamo as well. Lead back, nobody there to steal touches from him. But I do, believe they will get a more pass-catching, happy back this year, some in the draft, because there is a lot of running backs in this draft. But Jacobs, for me, did prove more than enough that with 15 rushing touchdowns, 1,300-plus yards, he is definitely still in the top 10. Number 9, big riser, Bucky Irving. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 64% on that boom rate. Started the year slow out the gates because it still was Rachaad White's backfield, but he took over in a big way. Could not put him on the bench whatsoever. He was absolutely killing it this year. 64% on that boom rate, 220 points. Over 200 carries, 1,100-plus yards, added 47 in the pass game. So you can't hate all that production and the way that this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team seems to be moving. It's still going to be Bucky. It's going to be Rachaad White, Mike Evans, and then now Jalen McMillan, and then potentially if Chris Godwin comes back to health, you got some weapons with a bake show to absolutely love. So I do love me some Bucky Irving. He was a good stash get in the last year's rookie drafts, and he definitely proved that he is better than how a lot of people evaluated him. James Cook, number 10, cracking the top 10, 25 years of age, contract extension looming for him to stay with the Buffalo Bills. What was my biggest gripe with James Cook last year in this Bills offense? He needed more opportunities to score touchdowns. He bulked up, did not impact his speed whatsoever, and he found his way into the end zone 18 times in the regular season, 16 on the ground, 2 through the air. James Cook, man, this offense runs so well with Joe Brady and how they move this ball. Everybody eats stigma, or whatever mantra, I should say, not stigma, but James Cook was absolutely stellar this year. Even on 207 carries, cracked 1,000 yards. You give this man more touches, he will absolutely continue to rise as his game. You see that touchdown he made versus the Chiefs. He is a baller. He's a brother of Dalvin Cook, man. It's in the bloodstream. We know this. Top 10 for James Cook. As long as he remains on the Bills, he should still continue to be one of these guys, man. Kenneth Walker III, number 11. And I could realistically drop Kenny down my board just a bit because the injuries are starting to become a problem and concern me just a little bit. 24 years of age, still incredibly youthful. He is one of the better running backs in this league without question. But he misses a lot of times, or a lot of time, I should say. 11 contests played only this year. But when he is on the field, he's hitting like a madman. 72% on that boom rate. It's good news when he's on the field, but when he's not, it does impact us fantasy-wise in a very big way. It's almost like you have to have a Zach Charbonnet as the handcuff. Otherwise, we're definitely, scrambling when Kenny does go down. But when he is on the field, the guy's absolutely stellar, and he makes a lot of plays, makes a lot of points for us, is more integrated in that pass game. So hoping that he does stay healthy. It's multiple seasons in a row that he has missed quite a bit of time. That is a big concern for me for a Kenny Walker III. Christian McCaffrey, CMC, 28 years of age. This almost feels dirty, but in Dynasty, we got to call what we got to call. And for me, 12 is respectable. I could still jump him into my top 10, still at 28 years of age. Basically missed the entire season due to that Achilles tendonitis, and then it did flare up on him as he did come back along with a knee injury as well. So there is health issues for CMC, but it's no shocker, no surprise how much the 49ers do run this man into the ground, and I could foresee this continuing to be a trend as CMC does continue to age. It is a big problem. Right now for me, I'm shopping, and I don't want to say I'm shipping him out just yet. I want to shop a CMC to see if his name value, name cachet can bring us back heapings of value. But at this point, still don't hate it. Almost want to see him back on the field, have a bunch of good games, and then get his value back up. Then you could try to ship him out of your off your team. But CMC definitely is starting to age. The wear and tear is starting to happen. He's definitely one that's falling down Dynasty ranks. Number 13, David Montgomery saw his first real injury with the Lions. and he was a killer, man. We talk about boom rates with a Gibby, 85%, man, on the boom rate for Gibby or for Monty. The Monty Gibby show hit every single week. Even if in your redraft leagues you drafted both a Monty and Gibby, you could have played them side by side every single week, and you were hitting anywhere from 12 to 20 points from each of them every single week, and that should continue in this offense, even without their Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, who went to the Chicago Bears. I don't foresee this changing whatsoever. This is the offensive pedigree. Run the football, and run the freaking football. 203 points. He did deal with that knee injury, which did cost him some boom games as he came back, and they rode the hot hand with a Gibby. So definitely Monty still at 27 years of age. I still like him as my running back 13. Chase Brown, love this kid. I could absolutely even make an argument to jump him to number 11 above a Kenny Walker III, and I would not hate it, but the way that I have it stacked right now, I don't dislike where his placement is, because these Bengals are always up and down, because Joey B's health always in question. Will they retain a T. Higgins? Lots of moving parts. Will they add another running back to spell a Chase Brown this year? We will see. 75% on that boom rate. He had a good year, man. 229 for 990, 7 TDs and 54 receptions. Will the reliance be more on him in the pass game if T. Higgins does leave as well? That would lift him up on my board also. So Chase Brown, definitely one of these guys hovering in that he's damn good, but can we trust it still phase? I'm kind of keeping him here in the middle, still in the top 15. Derrick Henry, due to age only, is he my 15th ranked running back, 31 years of age? I mean, this guy just seemingly just continues to ball out. As long as he stays with these Baltimore Ravens, expect a very similar thing. So if you're running it back for another fantasy dynasty championship, Derrick Henry has to be on your squad, man. He had, 94% on that boom rate, 326 points, finished as the running back 3. You cannot hate whatsoever what he did this year. 1,900 rushing yards, man, right behind a Saquon. This guy was absolutely killing it, and you know the Ravens with a Lamar Jackson will continue to run. Derrick Henry definitely still in the top 15, man. Alvin Kamara, number 16 for me. A lot of y'all, a lot of consensus saying Alvin is down your board. What did I say last offseason? It's Alvin Kamara. This guy, no matter who he plays with, he is going to get the lion's share of the workload. Yes, we're going to see a changeover in the coaching, scheme pedigree in New Orleans this year. Maybe Kellen Moore does come over after he wins the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Wink, wink. I mean, but I think this is due in part to the fact if Kellen Moore is the guy, we have seen him do both. Be the run-heavy coach, be the pass-heavy coach, but still provide, receiving upside to his running backs. Alvin Kamara with 68 receptions, still got 950 rushing yards, man, on 228. Some of his best rushing attempts he's had in his entire career. He is far from done. Signed a contract extension mid-year as well. So Alvin Kamara, I could still easily put him on my team and be extremely satisfied with it. I get trying to get out early before the dreaded 30-year-old does creep up, but Alvin Kamara for me, just like a Derrick Henry, if you're going for championships, abso-freaking-lutely, Kamara is on my team. Joe Mixon, number 17, Houston Texans, 28 years of age, definitely had a resurgence season this year, looked very good early on, then kind of tapered off as the year did move. He did deal with some injuries as well. Only 57% on that boom rate, but when you started the first 7 weeks or whatever it was after he got back from his injury, he was killing it for us. He was doing extremely well down the stretch, got a lot of us into the playoffs, and then crippled us with poor matchups later on. Over 1,000 yards, 11 TDs, and I do foresee, C.J. Stroud's got to fix his game this year. Definitely had a sophomore slump, but Joe Mixon is something that keeps the engine moving in Houston without question. Number 18, big riser, Chuba Hubbard, Carolina Panthers, and I love how they ended that season with how Bryce Young did perform. Chuba took the reins, man, especially with that rookie Brooks. He went down with another knee injury, so it is likely going to be Chuba's backfield once again in 2025, barring any additions in the NFL draft or free agency. 66% on that boom rate, 220 points. He was an absolute steal in all y'all's redrafts, and if you had him in Dynasty, he was sitting on your bench and became one of your focal points on your roster every single week. 1,100 plus yards, 43 receptions, 10 TDs on the ground. and they paid the man. So they're going to definitely continue to use the man. Chuba Hubbard definitely rising up boards. Tyrone Tracy at number 19, 25 years of age. Older type of rookie, but he did stay in college quite some time. 41% on that boom rate, 163 points. So, I mean, he is a wide receiver convert, 192 attempts for 839, 5 TDs, added 38 in the receiving game. What the positive is, they did not necessarily utilize a Devin Singletary like I thought they would, and Tracy was clearly the more explosive running back the entire season. His biggest issue is his fumbling problem. That's why he's here at 19. I could make a case to rise him up the board as well, but until he figures out the fumbling problem, this could be a serious issue if you're going to rank him higher. But they're going to be adding a quarterback. Obviously, no more Danny Pennies. He's gone from the team. You know they're not going to run it back with a Drew Lock. Somebody's going to be added to this QB room. And, I mean, they got Malik Neighbors. So, I mean, with Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors, Theo Johnson, you get yourself a young hotshot quarterback rookie out of this draft. You got a nice foursome that you can start building this offense around, and Tyrone Tracy could be a big part of that as well. James Conner, number 20, rounding out the top 20 for me, 29 years of age. And, man, when you want a running back that's as steady as they come, it is a James Conner. 68% on the boom rates, consistency rates, 230 points. And, I mean, his season was very interesting because we definitely thought with the addition of a Marvin Harrison Jr., we thought it was going to be a lot more pass happy. They went backwards and went to the run game, but I mean, rightfully so. James Conner was relatively healthy the entire year until he went down with that knee injury later on in the season, but the age creeps up. We know his injury history, but even if you do have him on your club, 20 is not disrespect to a James Conner whatsoever. He continues to be that guy we can lean upon as our running back. 2, number 21, Isaiah Pacheco, coming off that leg injury. Definitely a regrettable season for him. But I call this one as well. When it said all the hype, is Isaiah Pacheco a good running back? Yes, he is. It's just his violent running nature that is going to cause more injuries than I'm signing up for. I told you all this. You go back, there's a video called All Hype, and it's about an Isaiah Pacheco saying the draft capital value to return on investment was going to be too high. And I definitely hit the nail on the head with that. Not because he got injured, but because of how he runs the football. His body punishment is key for these running backs. They touch the ball a lot. And I mean, the way that a Pacheco runs, when he's on the field, he's good, man, no question about it, but I just don't want to invest a whole heaping a lot. That's just like a Kenneth Walker III. Very similar argument. Do you want to invest heavily in running backs that constantly find their way into the medical room? Do not like it. This could be the start of something negative for Pacheco at 25 years of age, where he did fractured his leg, whatever, fibula, whatever it was. But, I mean, he came back. He definitely didn't, help the cause much, as Kareem Hunt was the main back as Pacheco went down. Bijan Robinson Jr., excuse me, 22 right now for B-Rob. Definitely, started the year out great as well, and then he took a massive haircut. Don't know if he was playing injured. They used Austin Eckler down the stretch a little bit more as well, but the rushing upside of a Jaden Daniels definitely promotes rushing upside for this entire team. Still love me some B-Rob, and I get it. 25 years of age. This offense only going to continue to move forward. Second year with the Cliff Kingsbury. He bucked all the head coaching jobs and decided to stay with those commies. 149 points. He did deal with some injuries as well. 799 in yards, 187 in rush attempts. But, I mean, there still is so much upside with a B-Rob, so much upside with a Jaden Daniels. Still got him here at number 22. Tony Pollard with these Tennessee Titans. And, I mean, 50% on the boom rate. Tony Pollard, just like somebody, like I was saying with Chuba Hubbard, Tony Pollard was kind of forgotten. Everybody was like, including myself. I said, if he lands to me at a certain round, then okay, I don't dislike taking him, but I'm not going to reach for Tony Pollard. And he was very reliable, even though the 50% boom rate doesn't suggest that. 180 points for somebody you could have gotten like round 7 or 8. Definitely pulled you up the ranks in your fantasy leagues without question. For me, the right value to return on investment for Tony Pollard continues, and that's why I got him here at 23. Big dropper, 24 24 is a Travis Etienne, my guy. What a horrific season it was. Lots of rumors coming down that he could be traded this offseason as well. New coaching staff here also, so everybody's going to be on evaluation mode. How are they going to utilize this man? He just did not look the same this year, especially with the rise of a Tank Bigsby. It was his worst NFL season. 26% on that boom rate. He just did not look as explosive, did not look as engaged. He ranked 36 in final rankings this past year. That's why his drop definitely is here. But if he does get traded to a new club, I definitely could shoot him back up my board 10 spots and be totally comfortable with it. He still is very youthful, still has a lot of speed and juice. I just don't know what happened in Jacksonville this year. It was just an absolute crapshoot. Number 25, DeAndre Swift, definitely falling down the board, even though he did play decently with these Bears. New offensive coordinator with a Ben Johnson should raise a Swift up my dynasty or my redraft rankings, But where we sit today, you just feel like DeAndre Swift is one of these guys everyone's looking to replace, and I don't understand why. He's a very good quality running back, can do it both in the run and the pass, very explosive, very agile, still has the jets to make it happen down to the end zone. But you just feel like, with a Roshan, they're going to add probably somebody this year in the draft as well. It's just one of these dudes. They're like, yeah, we can replace him. He's a replaceable guy, almost like the next guy on my board, Aaron Jones at number 26. He's 30 years old, though, whereas Swift is 26. You kind of have these guys, in between each other at this point. I still would take an Aaron Jones if he re-ups in a Minnesota again this year, because I did love it last year. And this is primarily if you have him. I would be trying to trade him for cheap if somebody's trying to get rid of him. Definitely if I'm going for those titles or trying to compete for those championships, Aaron Jones will still give you what he gave this year. 1,100 plus yards, 51 receptions. This is what he does. He has not lost a step, even though he is 30 years old. Does he have the breakaway ability? Probably not, but he's still extremely reliable, and I love me some Aaron Jones. Number 27, Rachaad White dropping down because of Bucky Irving. He will still have a role, but 600 yards rushing, 51 in the receiving game. So he is taking a good share in the pass game from Baker Mayfield. Still makes him at least flex reliable, and that's why he is dropping down. Bucky is definitely putting his flag to say he's the lead back in this offense, but Rachaad White at 27 is definitely fair. J.K. Dobbins rising up the board as well. The forgotten man, told y'all as well, I love the move to the LA Chargers. Will he come back with the Chargers this year? We will see. Who else he goes to? That's the reason why I got him at 28. His future team, definitely unreliable at this point for us to rank him higher, but he did have a good bounce back year. Yeah, he tweaked the knee, but he was playing exceptionally well. 53% on that boom rate, almost 200 points. If he didn't miss that game, he would have easily cracked over 1,000 yards and over 200 points. Love me some J.K. Dobbins. 29, Ramondre, my dude, Ramondre Stevenson, Dre. Dre, as much as I love Drake May and how this offense could potentially be, new coaching staff, again, reevaluation. We know it's Mike Vrabel. We know it's a Josh McDaniels. We'll see how he does move forward with this run game. Is Ramondre going to be favored like he has been, or are they going to look for other options? Fumbling has been an issue as always, and the injuries did creep up on him again this year, so he is definitely falling down my board. But if you can, still don't hate rostering the man. It's just you're going to have to take the good with the bad with a Ramondre Stevenson. Finishing with 30 is Tank Bigsby. He flies up my board. I really was debating putting a Zach Charbonnet up in 30 because I love the game too. But Tank Bigsby definitely has the ability here to be the 3-down back in Jacksonville if they do decide to move on and trade a Travis Etienne. So that's why Tank Bigsby, as of today, is up to number 30 for me. This could be a very fluid moment where I could definitely make a case from 20 down to 30. Definitely moving parts could be happening quite a bit as we get closer to a lot of these offseason moves. But there you have it. That is running back rankings for Dynasty as we do enter Super Bowl week. I'm excited because it's a Super Bowl. I'm still bummed because my Bills are not in it, but here we go. We got to revamp these teams, get ready for, our startup drafts, rookie drafts coming. Absolutely stick with me. I got you covered, but nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.